Hi, this is Cyndy Adeniyi with Out of the Woods. I'm so glad that you have joined us today. Go ahead and grab your copy of the scriptures. We're going to be in Psalm chapter 46 today. And today we're going to be talking about how we can look at Psalm 46 in a way that brings hope and encouragement to those who are struggling with their mood, either with more of a depressed mood or more of an anxious mood. There's some hope and healing in this passage for both of those concerns. So, welcome once again to Out of the Woods, where we would get out of the woods and into God's Word so that we can live lives that are both Christ centered and emotionally healthy. Let's dig right in. We're going to be in Psalm chapter 26. It's 11 verses. We're going to read all 11 verses, and then we're going to go back and walk through each one of these verses. We're looking for hope and encouragement and healing in these verses. Here's verse number 1 of chapter 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear when the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, and she shall not be moved. God will help her when the morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Selah. What a beautiful, beautiful psalm. Let's go back through verse by verse and pull out of this psalm where our hope lies. Verse 1, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. You know, this reminds me of when a child might run to an adult for refuge. Can recall my kids running to me for protection from something like a storm or something like that. And I'm glad that they do, that I'm a refuge for them. But let's be real, if there's a tornado coming through, I've got a whole lot of strength. God is different in that. He is not just the one that we run to, he's also the powerful one. We're going to see that throughout this passage, that our God is all powerful. He's omnipotent. He is all powerful. And that is one of the reasons that we really can trust him with the struggles that we are facing, is because of his power. Not only is he our refuge and our strength, but he's also a very present help. A very present help. Now, it's a bit difficult for us, right? Because we cannot see God, not in the traditional sense of seeing things. And because we cannot see, we do have to have faith and trust that he is there. And the psalmist is reminding us that he is very much present. This isn't a God who set the world into its um, that he set the world into place and just kind of left it alone to kind of work itself out. That's not what he did. He is very present with us, with our struggles, with our needs. He's here. Verse 2, therefore. So whenever we see a therefore, we got to look and see what it's there for. Going back in the context, because God is our refuge and our strength, and He's present in time of trouble, therefore we will not fear. Though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. But let's think about that. Unless you live in an area that is prone to earthquakes, you're accustomed to the land being still. That's what I grew up with, right? The land, it's there, it's still. Mountains don't move. They are there, right? You got stores and buildings that come and go, right? But a mountain is always going to be right there where it was before. It is solid. And the psalmist here says, even if the land itself gives way, even if the mountain falls into the sea and the sea overflows its bay, even if all of this happens, we don't have to be fearful. Why not? Verse 1, God is both our refuge and our strength, and He's very present. And so when our entire lives fall apart, we don't have to be in fear. Why not? Because God is our refuge and our strength, and He's present. And so it doesn't matter. Now, for most of us, we're not going to face the land moving under our feet. What we're going to face are things like job loss and the sudden death of a loved one. We're going to face financial changes and health struggles. We're going to maybe face political struggles and such. But even so, God is still our refuge and our strength. I'm also going to suggest that He is our provider. Look at verse number 4. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, and she shall not be moved. God will help her when the morning dawns. Now, the commentator in my study Bible makes note that this river is both a physical blessing and a spiritual one. And when you think about it, water is a physical blessing to us. We have cities that are built up around waterways because of how water helps us to engage in commerce and trade. We have the need to find water whenever we're exploring a new area because water is so critical to our survival. And in this couple of verses here, we see that not only is God the provider of this river, that He is in this river, but also that it shall not be moved. The commentator also notes that the river symbolizes a spiritual blessing as well. And we do need spiritual refreshing. This idea of just go, 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 do, be. Like just we keep moving, and that's a bit of how our society has kind of rigged things recently, that we're always on the go, always on the move, always answering the phone, always being available. And there needs to be a time of refreshing. And I'm going to argue in this case, they've provided a very clear example of a Christ-centered refreshing. That this is God who is providing both the river and in the river. Next, we look again at some of the struggle. Verse 6 and 7. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters His voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. So let's think about that a little bit. Right now, are the nations raging? Are the kingdoms tottering? Oh, yes, they are. Well, they're talking about World War III in the United States. There's an election coming up. People are going back and forth, and the future is at stake. But the psalmist reminds us that God is in control. He utters a word, and none of these leaders, presidents, and prime ministers, they got nothing to say when the Lord of hosts speaks. And let's think about that next verse, verse 7. The Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies, is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Let's think about that. We don't have a fortress built by man. We have a fortress who is God. Now, who's going to prevail against that? Really? Who can prevail against the fortress that is God? Verse 8. Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes the wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. This is a reference to the coming millennium, where there's not going to be any need for bows and spears. There's not going to be any need for chariots to make war. The wars will cease. The wars will cease. What hope is available? I understand that may not happen today or tomorrow. However, they do cease. Behold the works of God, that he is able to do these things. And then we get blessed with a quote from the Lord himself. So far, the psalmist has been expressing what they know of God, but now God speaks directly and says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. How beautiful is that? All of this war that they're talking about, and the mountains going into the depths of the sea, all of this trouble that's being talked about, and what are we told to do? Be still. We're told to be still. And we got two instructions. One is to be still, and to know that God is God. And to know that our all-powerful God is all-powerful. To know that our all-knowing God knows everything, that he is present, that he is involved. And then, as kind of the icing on the cake, we have verse 11. Kind of a reminder. We've said it before. I'm going to say it again. If it's worth repeating, we need to pay attention. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. I hope that you found some help and healing in these words. That we don't have to worry about the troubles of the world. That we don't have to wallow in depression, because there does come a day when all of the wars cease, when there is a resolution. And that for both those who struggle with anxiety and for those who struggle with depression, we are given two real simple commands. One, to be still, and two, to know that God is God. I hope that this has been an encouragement to you. If it has, please like the video if you did indeed like it, and click for the subscription so that you can be updated when we provide more content on how to live a life that is Christ-centered and emotionally healthy. If you'd like more information about how to do just that, go ahead and visit us at the website getoutofthewoods.com. Well, the time has come once again for us to go ahead and get off of YouTube and to get into God's Word. God bless you.